It is that time of year, my AKAPADers. It's horror season. It's October. It's the 31 Days of Dread, where we do on this podcast, AKAPAD, the Film Buff Podcast. That's me. We do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. This year, it's nothing but black and white movies. Let's go. I really do feel like I grew up around. I grew up around the true VHS era. This is where only video stores could purchase VHSs. Now there were some consumer editions and titles and like even models. But the video stores, they had these elite catalogs. You had to be a vendor, you had to be approved, and you would go through the list. And a lot of times these VHS shops would have their catalogs available at the counter, just like an auto dealership. Like I believe AutoZone and even like Pep Boys and stuff, they still maintain this practice. And you would flip through it, and some of the prices would be $100, $200, even like $300. And the video store would take down your name, the title you wanted, and if they had enough interest in some of these titles, they could order it. There was a little bit of arithmetic when it came to spending $200 for a VHS tape to keep it on your shelf. How long would it take for you to make your money back? This is the rental model, right? There's nothing new there. And then VHS players got cheaper, the TVs got cheaper, sound systems for a good stretch, always expensive. But you could build a home theater for a few $1,000s, and that's what a lot of people were doing. And they would want to build out their VHS libraries. So the VHS collector, but it wasn't so much of a VHS collector. It was a collector to watch films. It expanded. So all the big companies downline, they would have consumer editions. Now we're at the true growth and the true explosion of the VHS era. I always reference my father, who would tape movies off of Cinemax and HBO for us, and a lot of families did that. So very quickly, you could get like a few hundred movies available. And then what happened was this idea of the independent movie, and the independent American movie was parlayed into the thought of the foreign film. And now we get to see what the true independent filmmakers were doing, the guys that didn't have major distributors and budgets. Very exciting. But those films eventually got wiser because the filmmakers got better. So there would be more Hollywood technique and cinematic experimentation with the American independent movie. This itself was an explosion. It led to Fox Searchlight, Sony, moving pictures, but all the major studios, Disney absorbed like Miramax. All the big studios got their independent labels, but those independent labels got corrupted when all the major talent and the filmmakers realized that if they kind of did these lean, talent-driven movies, they had really big returns. And then eventually Hollywood caught up to importing foreign filmmakers to get involved with their productions because of like individual voices, fan bases, talent, so on and so forth. So the VHS era like guided Hollywood for a good chunk of time. And I feel like I was at the center of that. Hunting down movies, reading about films. There just wasn't enough information out there to gather it all. Tetsuo the Iron Man, 1989. I still have it. It's in a box somewhere. I bought and found this movie randomly in a anime rack at Suncoast in the Echelon Mall which is now the Voorhees Town Center in New Jersey. I remember the day I found it. At the time, it was $35, but it was metallic. It was an hour long. And just looking on the back, because the facing cover didn't tell you too much about the movie, but it was like black and white, and it just looked gnarly, looked gritty. So I rushed home. And I watched this thing. I put it on. Even back then, even in 1989, my parents gave me enough wiggle room to go into the mall by myself and do things. I remember a lot of the early anime I kind of had to hide from my parents just from the VHS covers alone. But this is something I was able to slip through. And I eventually watched it, and I was able to go into my parents' basement and kind of have viewing experiences to myself because, my family was busy. My sister was out doing something. And I didn't know what I watched. When I first watched this movie, I didn't know. And at the time, I thought I was a little bit advanced because I had discovered heavy metal, wizards, Clockwork Orange. My father and I would watch 2001. I believe I was a little advanced when it came to what was good and what wasn't, or what higher level filmmaking was. Nothing could have prepared me for Tetsuo, the Iron Man. To describe this movie, we have a true expression of cinema. Not all the techniques, not everything used it's at its best. This is relatively a movie of a man who gets overtaken by a metal entity, and his lover does at the same time. And throughout the course of the movie, they merge together, they separate. They even have like a really weird sex scene. But eventually, by the end of the movie, they merge, and then they set out to conquer the world, to turn the world into metal and rust, and have it break away into the cosmos. And when we get at the end, it's somewhat of this metal mass creature, but we have to use our imaginations when we watch the ending of this movie. We have to imagine it as impenetrable, as Juggernaut, as a monolith, but deadly, scary, and frightening. We even have to imagine the smells. But we have this low budget movie, and they do what they can. As Tetsuo is transforming, we see ways that the filmmaker discovers to show off he's growing powers and growing awareness, and it's like a sped up film, and the camera's just running back at the individual, and it's just silly at times. You watch it, you're just like, oh man, I could do that. But you can't. Because I feel like this is one of the most advanced films of the 80s. I think going into the 90s, this is everything that the 90s was built on, which is experimental, independent, unknown voices, and foreign actors. Just foreign ideas. Hard-boiled, The Killers, City of Fire, the list goes on. Hong Kong Crime. But this film would just fade into the realms of forgetfulness because anime got so big. Because when we think about Asian cinema, we rather think about Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. And we don't want to think about the attempted sci-fi positions that they had during this time while being independent. And I say position because the story, I recently rewatched it. It is available on YouTube. Yes, you can watch it for free. It's also available on digital, but please pay for it. Watch it for free, then pay for it, okay? This is a movie about the end of the world happening in the shadows and in the alleys. The main character they call Salary Man because he's just a regular salary Japanese business worker that we see memes about nowadays. He gets possessed by this metal entity and it starts infecting his entire life. And no one is there to see it. No one is there to help him or stop him or report it. And then he eventually merges with this woman and they mesh together at the end. And then inside of this mass of machine, we see two souls that are coming together in harmony for the first time. They're in love, and all of this, it's like this transitional attack on, like not even a Japanese culture. It's an attack on the culture of the world itself, meaning your biology is meaningless now. There's something more advanced has emerged. But it all happens in the shadows. There's no president calling in an airstrike. There's no scientist to explain it all to you. None of these characters exist in this movie. It's a deeply private, dark, end of the world saga done in a independent light. It's truly significant, and this is the imagery and the graphics. It's scary. It's horrible. It's very H.R. Giger. Very cool stuff. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Now, here's the wild thing. I didn't realize. I never knew because I never delved deeply into this movie other than watching it. Tetsuo 2. Body Hammer, 1992. So we get a sequel. And I have to watch it, and I have to bring it to you guys. We'll talk more about this production, the people who made this movie, more about the impact, more about the YouTube videos. There's a wealth of YouTube videos on this. Because people are constantly discovering this movie and getting as fascinated by it as I was when I first watched it, even though I didn't understand it, and I know I didn't understand it. I understand it to the point of I don't think I ever recommended this movie. Isn't that wild? But yeah, 31 Days of Dread, we have a theme. Everything's got to be black and white, and I remembered this being horrific in black and white, and I'm happy for it. All right, AKA Padders, I love you guys. Rock and roll.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production.
Let
take
me
2.
cut in. Sorry, AKA Padders. I know it's such a hot, passionate episode, but I'm breaking the flow real quick just to remind you guys. If you want to support me, one of the best, easiest, and free ways to do it, leave a comment. Give me a like. I know there's someone out there that you know that loves film as much as I do, that love the film industry as much as I. Show this to them. Comments, likes, and reviews, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We need to increase our reach, and to do that requires your involvement in everything that I do. We're linked. We're forever bound. You're the membrane, I'm the muscle. So guys, let's just do it. One review. Do you have it in you? Okay, back to the show.
Okay, that's a wrap.